just spent $200 on the wrong SAT prep book. You've been studying for 3 weeks and your scores haven't budged. Sounds familiar? So you're not alone, because thousands of students make this mistake every year. They grab whatever SAT books looks good on the shelf or has the best Amazon reviews without understanding that not all prep books are created equal. So today I'm going to show you the 5 SAT prep books that actually work, and more importantly I'm going to show you which one is right for you. So my dear viewers, my name is Gurpreet and I'm with Wizdomi, an education technology platform that's helped thousands of students in US and Canada ace their SAT. And here's what research shows us. Now, the College Board, which actually creates the SAT, published research in 2024 showing something really powerful. Now, students who complete just one full-length practice test score on average 25 points higher than students who don't practice at all. 2 tests, 45 points higher. 3 tests, 60 points higher. So that's not small. That's actually the difference between good colleges and great colleges. But here's why it gets really interesting. Now, Brookings Institution, which is a leading educational research organization, it analyzed SAT prep effectiveness in 2025. Now with that, they actually found that students who use high quality prep books for 20 plus hours, they see average score improvements of 115 points. Now 115 points, just imagine. And that's especially true for international students. Now NRI families and students from lower income backgrounds who might not have access to expensive tutoring. So the science is absolutely clear here. The right prep book used consistently can actually transform your SAT score, but you need to actually pick the right one. Now, that's why only I've reviewed hundreds of hours of research, tested these books personally, and also spoken with educators who have actually tutored over 30,000 students. Now, what I'm talking about to share with you is actually based on real data, real student results, and real expert opinion. Now, in the next section, we'll talk about what exactly you'll learn here. Now, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly, first, the 5 best SAT prep books on the market right now in 2025 to 2026. Second, what makes each book different and why that matters for your specific needs. And third, the exact price of each book and what you're actually getting for your money. Fourth, how many practice tests and practice questions each book includes, because more isn't always better. Fifth, which book is best if you are a first-time test taker versus a high scorer aiming for perfection. And sixth, which book I recommend for NRI parents trying to support their kids from overseas while managing time zones and also international testing center. Now this matters because choosing the wrong book can actually cost you months of wasted time and hundreds of dollars in tutoring you won't need if you pick the right resource from the beginning. So let's get started. So I'm Gurpreet, and at Wizdomi we have worked with thousands of high school students preparing for digital SAT. We run personalized one-on-one tutoring for K-12 students throughout the United States and Canada, and here's what we have learned. So the students who succeed, they are not necessarily the ones who study the most. They are the ones who actually study with the right resources. Now these 5 books, they are the resources that actually work. So let's start with number 5. Princeton Review Digital SAT Premium Prep 2026. Let's talk about that. So if there's one word to describe the Princeton Review approach, it's definitely accessible. So the Princeton Review, it has been helping students prepare for standardized tests for over 40 years. They know what works because they have actually done this longer than almost anyone else. Now this book gives you 6 full-length practice tests. Now 3 are in the book itself and 3 more are definitely available online, adapted to match the digital SAT's adaptive environment. That's 1400 additional drill questions organized by question type. So if you are struggling especially with words and context questions, you can drill those directly. The writing style is clear and engaging. So the Princeton Review doesn't use complicated jargon at all. They explain concepts the way a good teacher would, conversationally, with examples that actually make sense. So if you are a first-time SAT taker, this is one of the most approachable books that you can start with. It builds confidence, and definitely confidence is 40% of test day success. The online flashcard system for vocabulary is fantastic. If you're struggling with words in context or just need vocabulary building, this integrated system definitely works. Also, I would say that it's well organized, not overwhelming, because you're not drowning in 800 pages of dense information. The content is streamlined. Price-wise, you're looking at around $37 to $45, which is competitive. For what you are getting, 6 full-length practice tests plus 1400 questions, that's actually a solid value. So who is this book not for? So if you're already scoring 1500 or higher on practice tests, you might find that this book doesn't challenge you enough. The advanced math and reading problems in other books, they might be better suited for top scorers. Now, Princeton Review is your friendly, confident guide to SAT prep. It won't overwhelm you and it will build the fundamentals that you need. Best for first-time test takers and students seeking balance between strategy and practice. Number 4 is the College Panda SAT Math Digital SAT Edition. Now, I want to be honest with you from the start. This book is not a replacement for a complete SAT prep resource. It's a specialist book. So think of it like this. If SAT prep were a hockey team, the College Panda would be your star sniper. So incredible at one thing, but you need the full team to win. Now the one thing is math, especially advanced math concepts and mastery. The author, Nielsen Food, known online as the College Panda, was actually a high school math teacher. He took the SAT himself and scored 1600, which is absolutely a perfect score. And then he asked himself, what would be a perfect score book look like? And the answer was this: a book with over 500 math practice questions organized by topic by topic. It's not just problems, but problems that explore every variation of how the SAT tests each concept. So here's the College Panda doesn't just say here's how to solve quadratic equations. It says here are quadratic equations that look easy, but they have tricks. And here are quadratic equations combined with other concepts. Here are quadratic equations that the SAT writers designed to trick you. Okay, now we'll talk about key feature of the Desmos calculator. Now the digital SAT gives you access to Desmos, which is a powerful graphing calculator built into the testing interface. Most books don't really explain how to use it effectively. The College Panda walks you through it, and this is real skill building. So the feature is that the book identifies the most common mistakes students make on each question type, and then it teaches you specifically how not to make those mistakes, because that's sophisticated test prep. Then over 500 practice questions, all of them categorized. You can drill down on your weak areas without wasting time on concepts that you have already mastered. The price is in between $30 to $35, and it's very reasonable for the depth of content. So who should buy this book? So you, if your math score is your weakest section, definitely you should. And also you, if you are scoring 600 or below that in math. And even you, if you are targeting a math score of 700 or higher. And who should not buy this book? So it's math only. There's no reading, no writing section covered. So if you need help across all 3 SAT sections, then for that you will need to pair this with other resources. Also, if you are a complete beginner to high school math, this might skip over some foundational concepts. So now the College Panda is the math specialist. If math is holding you back, then this is your book. So you need to pair it with another resource for reading and writing, and you'll see dramatic improvements in your math section. Now we'll talk about the third book. This is The Critical Reader by Erica L. Meltzer, 6th edition, and this is the gold standard for SAT reading and grammar. So I'm not exaggerating here, because tutors, educators, and even college admissions consultants definitely recommend this. Now, Erica L. Meltzer developed her test prep methods over more than a decade tutoring students in Manhattan. She has worked with hundreds of high-achieving students preparing for SAT, and this book is the culmination of that experience. Now, let's talk about what it covers. So, The Critical Reader, it actually focuses on the reading and grammar sections of SAT. This is the 6th edition updated for the digital SAT format, and inside this book you'll find a complete chapter dedicated to each reading and grammar concept tested on SAT. Second, you'll find 75 practice sentences completions. They are very tricky, and they also require you to not just know vocabulary, but to also understand context and how words work together. Third, a list of 300 top tested vocabulary words. Not every word in the dictionary, just the words that actually appear on SAT. Fourth, strategies for understanding difficult passages and locating the correct answers more quickly and confidently. Now, why does this book matter? So here's what separates The Critical Reader from other reading books. So Meltzer actually teaches you how the SAT works, not theory, not abstract grammar rules, the actual patterns that the test writers use. For example, when you are reading a passage and you see a word seems to fit over there, but your instinct says something off. So Meltzer actually teaches you to trust that instinct and identify why it's wrong based on how SAT constructed. its questions. So, the key strengths are cumulative reviews. Why? Because the book reinforces concepts that you learned earlier. So, by the end, you're not just learning 50 different strategies, you are internalizing 5 core reading logic principles that actually connect to everything. So, the explanations are clear without being oversimplified, as Meltzer respects your intelligence. She doesn't actually dumb things down. So this book has literally helped thousands of students score 750 plus on the reading and writing section. So the real testimonials in the book prove it, and the price is around $25 to $30. And honestly, for that value, this is a steal compared to other reading books. So who should buy this? If you're reading your weakest section, you struggle mostly with grammar, punctuation, or identifying correct answers in reading passage. If English isn't your first language, then you can buy it, right? And you again, specifically if you want expert level reading strategy. So this is not a complete SAT prep book. It actually focuses on reading and grammar, and definitely you need a separate resource for math. So plan accordingly. Also, Erica L. Meltzer has written a companion book called The Ultimate Guide to SAT Grammar, which is for $25. So if you want even more depth on grammar specific topics. So the original critical reader covers both reading and grammar as well. So the bottom line is that the critical reader is the reading specialist written by one of the most respected educators in test prep. So if reading is holding you back, this is worth every penny. So pair it with a math resource and you're all set. Then we have the book Barron's Premium. So this is Barron's Digital SAT Premium Study Guide 2025. This is a heavyweight, and I mean that literally. It's 824 pages. The author Brian W. Stewart is a Princeton graduate. He scored a perfect SAT, and more importantly, he has over 30,000 hours of tutoring experience. That's actually 30,000 hours of learning what works and what doesn't. So Barron's approach is comprehensive, absolutely comprehensive. So you get this book, you get 4 full-length practice tests, including 1 diagnostic test to identify your starting point, and 1 test specifically designed to mimic the adaptive nature of digital SAT. You also get 1800 practice questions, because that's not a type. You get 1800, 300 plus online drills organized by question type. So if you're struggling with, say, exponential equations, you can drill just those problems. In-depth subject review for math, reading, and writing. So we are talking detailed explanations of every concept tested with worked exam. Hundreds of additional practice questions in each subject review section. So you're not just reading about concepts, you are actually actively practicing them. Now, Brian Stewart actually believes in mastery through volume. The more times you see a concept tested in different ways, the more likely you'll recognize it and you'll solve it on test. So this approach actually works, especially for students targeting scores above 1400. Now, this book has legitimately helped students score in the top percentile. The testimonials from top scorers, they are real and they are documented. The explanations are definitely sophisticated. So Stewart actually doesn't dumb things down. He respects that some students are aiming for 750 plus math and 720 plus read. So this book challenges you appropriately. The online resources are extensive. This isn't just a book with a PDF login. There's a full question bank, progress tracking, and scoring systems. So Stewart's author voice comes through. He explains not just how to solve problems, but why the SAT asks questions a certain way. This meta understanding is incredibly valuable, and the price is in between $35 to $45. So given the 1800 practice questions and comprehensive coverage, this is actually a good value. You are getting the equivalent of 3 other books combined, which is an honest trade-off. So this book is dense. It's 824 pages. If you have 12 weeks to prepare, it's perfect. If you have 4 weeks, you are going to feel overwhelmed. It's again best for students who are already scoring at least 1200. So below that, you might find some content too advanced, and it definitely requires commit. You can't skim this. You have to work through it systematically. So who should buy this book? Let's talk about that. Again, I would say if you have more than 12 weeks to prepare, and if you are already scoring 1200 or above, and you need to break into 1400s. And again, if you are a highly motivated student who wants to do the work, or if you want to get the perfect score. So who should not buy this book? You should not buy it if you prefer concise information, quick summaries, and if you are a visual learner, because this book is all about tech. Also, you shouldn't buy it if you have limited time. So Barron's is definitely the deep dive book. It's for serious students doing serious preparation. So if you commit to this book, your score will definitely improve. This is not a quick fix, it's a genuine comprehensive SAT preparation system. Then we have the Kaplan SAT Total Prep. So let's understand this also. And finally, this is my number one top recommendation for most students, the Kaplan SAT Total Prep 2026. Have a look. So Kaplan has been, helping students prepare for standardized tests since 1960s. They have decades of data on what works. So this book is actually the Goldilocks, not too overwhelming, not too simplified, just right. And here's what you get. You get full-length practice tests, 2 are digital and 2 adaptive, meaning that they adapt to your performance just like the real SAT. 2 are paper-based versions that still mimic the adaptive nature. So you get more than 1100 practice questions with detailed explanations, not just answers, but explanations that teach you how to think about each question type. 1 full year of online access. This is the online platform includes 2 additional digital full-length exams, unlimited quizzes, video lessons covering test content and strategy, a personalized study planning tool. Let me repeat that. 1 year of access. So if you wish to buy this in January, you have access through December. Now that's flexibility for students who need to retake the test or want to review material later. Now the Kaplan online system is sophisticated. It actually uses your practice test results to identify your weak areas automatically. Then it recommends specific lessons and practice questions to address those weaknesses. So this is adaptive learning. The platform actually learns your patterns and it adjusts what it shows you. So that's not a book, that's actually a personal SAT tutor, that too also in digital form. Now they don't actually teach you content, they teach you how to think like the test writer. Now what traps does the SAT set? How do you avoid them? Well, this meta level thinking is what separates the 1300s from 1500s. The strength is the hybrid format. Some students learn better from books, some learn better online. You get both. So you are never bored or stuck with one learning style. 1 year of access to this book means that if you don't hit your target score the first time, you can retake with the same materials. No additional cost, just renewed focus. Now, the reflect pages at the end of chapter are the main biggest strength. So after you study a topic, you rate your confidence level. So this meta awareness helps you calibrate your preparation and spend time where it matters. The price is in between $40 to $50 and it's quite reasonable for 1100 questions plus 1 year of online access and video lessons. So you're essentially getting a prep book plus an online course at the same time. Here's something important. Now Kaplan offers a score improvement guarantee. So if you use their book and online resources faithfully and you don't see score improvement, they will refund your money or they'll let you retake the course for free. That's confidence in their product. Now who should buy this book? So I would say that again, for you, if you're looking for a comprehensive balanced approach, if you want both a book and online tools, if you have 8 to 12 weeks to prepare, and if you are scoring between 1100 to 1450 and you want to improve methodically, and if you're having multiple formats and tools available. So of course this book is not good for few, or it's not recommended for few because it's comprehensive, it's not hyper specialized. So if you only want to focus on math, then the college Panda is more specialized. If you want only reading expertise, then the critical reader is more focused, and if you want the absolute maximum volume of practice questions, then Barron's definitely has more. But for most students, for the average high school student who wants one comprehensive resource that won't overwhelm them, then Kaplan is perfect. So Kaplan SAT Total Prep 2026 is my top recommendation for most students because it balances comprehensive content, strategic thinking, practice volume, and online support. So it's that all-in-one solution that actually works. Okay, so we have covered 5 books. Now let me break down who should choose which ones. So my dear viewers, if you are a first-time test taker, you have 8 to 12 weeks and you definitely want a balanced approach, then I would recommend Kaplan SAT Total Prep 2026 because it's comprehensive and not overwhelming. The online tools also help you stay organized, and this is my number one recommendation for most students. If you are an advanced learner, highly motivated, and you have more than 12 weeks, then Barron's Premium Study Guide. You want maximum practice questions and sophisticated explanations. If you're willing to do the work, this book will reward that commitment. If reading is your weakest section and you need expert guidance, then you can go for The Critical Reader by Erica L. Meltzer. So you can pair it with a math resource and you'll see dramatic reading improvements. So the reading strategy is definitely world class. If math is holding you back and you want to break 700 in that section, then you can select the College Panda SAT Math because it's focused, deep, and effective for math mastery. So you can pair it with a reading resource and you're all set. If you are a visual learner who prefers clarity and doesn't want to feel overwhelmed, then you can go for Princeton Review Digital SAT Premium Prep because it's accessible, it's well organized, and it builds confidence. It's perfect for first timers who want guidance without intensity. Now I have a specific note for NRI families in US and Canada. So research shows that international students and families preparing for SAT from overseas, they have unique challenges. Time zone differences with tutors, limited access to physical test prep resources, potential language barriers despite fluency. For you specifically, I would want you to use Kaplan as your primary resource because the online platform is robust and it works 24/7 no matter what time zone you are in. So you're not dependent on live instruction. You can supplement with the critical read. If English isn't your first language, then the systematic approach helps ESL speakers master reading and grammar in ways other books don't. And the College Panda if math is a concern. So this 3-book combination, Kaplan, Critical Reader, and College Panda would cost you around $95 to $120 total, and it will cover all the 3 sections comprehensively. That's even less than 3 hours of tutoring, and these books can be used by multiple students in your family. So before we wrap up, let me remind you of the research that we started with. So college board data shows that students who use quality prep materials, they score 45 to 60 points higher on average. That's not hypothetical, that's actually real data from real students. Brookings institution found that structured preparation, especially for students from lower income backgrounds and underrepresented communities, they can narrow achievement gaps by 30 to 40%. That's meaningful, that's life-changing for many students. And here's the reality, so you don't need expensive tutoring to see these gains. A quality book used consistently over 8 to 12 weeks can deliver these improvements. So here's what I want you to do. First, click the links in the description. All the 5 are linked there with current prices and purchase options. Second, go check which book matches your situation. So first timer seeking balance, or you want to go for Kaplan, that is advanced if you are an advanced learner wanting depth, or if you are planning for reading specialist, you can go for Barron's, or the critical reader if you are more math focused, or if you want accessible clarity, you can go for College Panda, Princeton Review. So third, commit to consistent practice. Studies show that students who study 20 plus hours over 8 to 12 weeks see the biggest improvements. That's not intensive, that's just 2 to 3 hours every week, which is very, very manageable. Fourth, if you are an NRI family or if you're facing any unique challenges, just remember that these books work across these time zones and situations, so you have the flexibility. And fifth, I would say that subscribe to our channel because we create content specifically for students preparing for SAT and parents supporting that preparation. Every video is research backed and practical. Getting a good SAT score isn't about perfection, it's about putting yourself in a position to succeed in college and beyond. So the right prep book is the foundation of that success. You have got. So thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you, please like it, and that tells YouTube to recommend it to other students and parents like you. So subscribe to the Wizdomi channel for more SAT prep content, college admission tips, and study strategies specifically designed for students in US and Canada. And for personalized one-on-one SAT tutoring, visit our website wizdomi.com because we offer tailored sessions with expert instructors who can identify your specific challenges and create a customized plan. So your journey to a 1500 plus SAT score starts with choosing the right prep book, and I've given you the roadmap to the same. Now it's time to take action, so I will see you in the next video.